Me Too movement has instilled a pervasive apprehension within corporate spheres, dissuading them from appointing women to uppermost echelons. This unsettling revelation intimates a deep-seated reluctance among male counterparts, ostensibly fueled by apprehensions surrounding unsubstantiated allegations.
So I used to work with all men, and people would always be like, oh, you must get hit on all the time if you work with all men. But what I had to explain was that actually, in settings where it's like 70% men, 30% women, the women get hit on all the time. But in this case, I was literally the only woman on a 20-person team. And in those cases, the men just act like there are no women there and they ignore you. At least that's what I told myself. Sorry.
I don't want to work anymore because I'm literally just working at a job that does not interest me and does not fulfill me. But I have to work at this job because otherwise I can't afford my rent and I can't afford my bills and I can't afford any food. And it just feels like this constant loop because I spend most of my days in a job that I don't want to be at, but I have to be at. And then when I'm not at this job, I'm too tired and drained to do anything but nothing. So I don't even advance in my life. And people say, like, get another job or whatever, but I don't want another job. I don't want to keep working for other people for the rest of my life. Like, I want to fulfill my dreams. I want to do what makes me happy. I don't want to keep fulfilling someone else's dream and making their business successful. Like, I want to make my business successful. I don't even have a business, but I would if I wasn't broke. It's just so shit that we all have to keep doing stuff that we don't even want to do just for the sake of survival. This is probably why we're all so unhappy. Anyway, rant over.
Woman upset over 9-to-5 job. Woman on TikTok is on viral for crying about her 9-to-5 job or 2-hour commute because she has no time to do anything after work. Many people have met her TikTok with criticism, call her a spoiled brat. Yeah, welcome to the world.
This is my first job, like my first 9-to-5 job after college. I get on the train at 7:30 and I don't get home till like 6:15 earliest. I'm so upset. The 9-to-5 schedule in general is crazy. I don't have time for anything and I'm like so stressed out. And I'm also getting my period, so that's why I'm all emotional.
Yeah, that's life, man. That's.
I mean, yeah, it sucks, but
I don't mean to laugh.
I mean, yeah, no shit.
that's just life. Go try to make a better job for yourself if you want to. We did it.
Yeah, the 9-to-5 grind. I did it. It's brutal.
That for teenage boys now, they are so terrified of the consequences of putting a foot out of line. It's hard enough being a young teenager, working out how things are, working out how to do dating and all of that, without the terror that if you touch in the wrong place at the wrong time, you may find that your whole life is destroyed.
See, I
and there
like
is
that
far
terror.
too much. Well,
I like that.
As a
I
mother
think that
of a
men
teenage
should be
boy, I
frightened.
don't like
Really?
that terror.
I do.
Delicious thing I've ever
That
heard.
is
I think that
awful.
men should be frightened
I think
to
you'd
touch
feel
women in a way that
differently if you
they're
were,
not
if you
comfortable
were.
with.
But we're talking about
Yeah, but we're not
teenage
talking
years,
about. We're
children.
not talking about.
We're
Yeah,
talking
but
about
it's an
young
interesting
children.
thing that you see. I would say that attitude actually is part of the problem too.
It
That
is.
is that's to me toxic femininity.
It is.
That is saying you should all be terrified, you men, if you put one.
Of assaulting.
Well, I think we all understand what sexual
What is
assault
an
is.
assault?
What Isabel's talking about is that young teenage clumsiness
really
in many
hard.
cases, which is now being recategorized as assault. Is that a problem?
It's not being recategorized as assault. It's always been assault. It's just we're finally talking about
I don't agree
it.
with that, but I do think it's really hard for a 16, 17-year-old boy now in this environment to know even how to start
They are all
having
terrified.
some kind of physical relationship with a woman.
Those good boys are all terrified. I know that from talking to my son. He's just like, I'm just not going there. Is that healthy?
Yes, I.
Whoever fought for women to get jobs. Why? Why did we do that? I am so tired. I want to just put my feet up. Like, oh my God.
Could we talk for a moment about Me Too? You've rejected the idea that we should always believe the victim in a rape
Well, that's
accusation.
obvious. That's
Yes.
what happened in the lynch cases in the 1950s in the United States. The victim was always believed.
Yes, and I was going to say that's fair enough. But why not accept the situation as being the victim deserves to be treated as if she's telling the truth in our attempts to get at the truth, and in doing that, we do our best not to re-victimize her.
Because that isn't how the adversarial system works, and I don't think
But
that we
why
have
not advocate for that?
Because
Rather
the
than
adversarial system is a very effective judicial system, and it's certainly the case that among crimes that are falsely reported, rape crimes are at the top of the list. So there is no believing the victim. There's no reason for people to assume that when they enter the criminal justice system that they're going to be treated with kid gloves or treated easily. That isn't how it works.
Hi everybody, Eric the Ontarian talking about the Me Too movement. I know it's a little controversial, but in the end, if now we have managers that are male that are refusing to, don't want to, or afraid to work with females and mentor them and guide them, that creates an issue in itself, and we can't have that. It's getting down to the point where I've talked about having dash cams in the car for liability reasons, and that you're recording what you're doing in case there's people who make accusations. I think we're at the point, are we? Where then if you're a male supervisor and you have females, you have males, you have anybody, so you don't want any type of allegation, harassment, sexual, being tyrannical against your employees. Are we at a point that you need to sign it at your front door to your office that says, this is all being videotaped, audio at all times when you come in my office? It might be there. Don't be surprised when you see it the next little while.
Since the Me Too movement, I would never recommend any man to be speaking to any one of his colleagues because it comes at a huge risk. If she likes your advances, it's going to be all fun and games. If she doesn't, she's going to be at Karen and HR in the morning, and you're losing your job. But they're telling you about workplace misconduct and inappropriate behavior and stuff like that because it's been changed so far, and men have to protect themselves. And you know, I think.
But isn't that hypocrisy? Why is it that if a woman fancies you, your advances are okay?
Yeah.
But if she doesn't fancy you, then it's deemed as something that is negative.
It's because
Does that mean that we've forgotten how to have discernment as women?
Yes, because what's happened now is, like what Pearl said, is like someone is going to say to you that was wrong. You should.
No means no. That's another one. No means no. It's like no, it doesn't. All right. Look. No means no. No, that means no. All right, but no, stop it. What are you doing? Oh my God. You're being so bad. Stop it. No. Yeah, that's not a fucking no. That means I want to do it, but I'm afraid you're going to judge me, so I'm just going to make it look like it was your idea so you don't figure out that I've already performed this act with 40 other fucking people. Right? But then you go to court and you get a bad read and there's some guy reading it. Your Honor, she said no. Stop it. What are you doing? You're being so bad. Yeah, and you're just sitting there like, she didn't fucking say it like that. She didn't say it like that.
He's fucking my girl.
Many people, including myself, only became aware of the Me Too movement in 2017 when Rose McGowan, a white wealthy woman who was a famous actress, brought it up. But it was actually started all the way back in 2006 by Tarana Burke, an African-American social activist. Women of color have been speaking up about sexual abuse in low-income workspaces for ages, but they never garnered the same attention as a rich white actress.
Well, isn't this awesome? Due to the hard work and efforts of feminism in the Me Too movement has made men not only be extra careful working with women in the workplace, but it is making men not even want to work with women.
There's been some backlash about Me Too and some anxiety, as you might imagine.
Many male managers and owners are feeling a little bit more tentative when working with and managing their female workers.
Listen to this. A side result, an unintended consequence of the Me Too movement has popped up. Male executives and managers, some are now saying they are afraid to work with and mentor female colleagues in the workplace. So we're trying to find out, is it too hard to see the difference between mentoring and harassment?
Listen, I can't give any more information. But I fear I may have girl bossed a bit too close to the sun.
A large percentage of male managers were concerned about working with women one-on-one in the workplace. They were concerned about mentoring women. They were saying they were afraid to have meetings with women, to travel with women, and so on. It indicates that there are anxieties and fears that we need to address.
I have a big concern, and it's what's going to happen in hiring going forward.
Mark Yoseloff is the director of UNLV's School of Gaming and Innovation and hired hundreds of men and women as former CEO of Shufflemaster. He says this movement will make it tougher for women to get hired, especially when they're up against a qualified man.
They might elect to hire the man because they are concerned that down the road, whether they do anything wrong or not, there might be a she said, he said.
Yoslov says current CEOs he knows have already opted not to sit in meetings alone with women in fear they would do something to spark a complaint.
It's a craziness that no executive wants to have.
If you're in the workplace and somebody puts their hand on your waist and it's unwanted and you go to human resources, the person who did that could be accused of sexual assault. Now, if you get any man on the street...
Y'all don't agree at all? Okay.
So if you're in the workplace and somebody puts their hand on your waist and it's unwanted and you go to human resources, the person who did that could be accused of sexual assault. Now, if you get any man on the street or any man or woman on the street and say to them, so-and-so was convicted of sexual assault, in that person's mind, that's the same as rape.
Yeah.
Okay, and so, yes, there are a tremendous number of levels that are going to differentiate the seriousness between the hand on the waist, which is unwanted, and should be dealt with. If somebody touches you in a way that you're not comfortable with, you should say to that person, I'm uncomfortable with you touching me this way.
The Me Too movement in 2017 raised awareness to numerous stories of sexual abuse of women in the workplace. And not only was the movement successful in exposing individuals like Harvey Weinstein, it even had an impact on public policy. But like anything, the pendulum swings both ways. Despite its success, the Me Too movement promoted extreme slogans such as "Believe all women," and along with it created a climate of fear where innocent men were unfairly accused and reputations destroyed. And the most notable was the Johnny Depp-Amber Heard case, where Heard wrote an op-ed alleging that she was a victim of abuse. And it wasn't until 4 years after getting canceled from everything when Depp won the defamation trial for the false allegations.
The Me Too movement took down hundreds of powerful men. 2 years later, some say it is costing women opportunities and causing segregation in some workplaces. Larry Seward breaks it down.
The year Spacey, Weinstein, Moonves, and Lauer went down, and hashtag #MeToo rose in a tide that pushed 200 powerful men out jobs for sexually harassing women. UH business professor Dr. Leanne Atwater kept tabs and worried. Corporate America planned to cleanse cultures, listen to women violated, and take harassment complaints more serious. But
if you're lacking in integrity and you're kind of a sexist, then your answer to this is, okay, we'll just keep them out. And that'll solve the problem. We won't hire them, we won't include them, and then we don't have to worry about it.
So she ordered anonymous online surveys. 300 men, 300 women asked how Me Too changed their workplaces. Results published in Harvard Business Review say nearly a third of those men avoid one-on-one meetings with women. More than 20% reluctant to hire any woman for jobs that require travel or close interaction. Another 19% say they avoid hiring attractive women. On the review blog, one manager added, "Unfortunately, in my estimation, getting too close to women at work puts your career and reputation at risk."
This is not where we want to be heading. We want people to behave. There seems to be more segregation of exclusion and separation as opposed to let's work on this problem for the problem that it is. I think managers need to be aware that some of this is occurring and try to eliminate it rather than make it worse.
Dr. Atwater hopes her work inspires more change and less fallout. Larry Seward, KHOU 11 News.
Her tweet completely ignores the position that the guys might be in, how they might be feeling. You know, here comes a woman, she's the only woman in the team, she's coming up and she wants to interact with you and it's just you and her alone in a room. Like, yeah, that's not cool. You may not have anything going on. You may not have any interest in doing anything to her. You don't want to get into a situation where you could even be. You might be happily married, have no interest whatsoever in a romantic sense. But here you are in a room and all it takes is her word that something happened. And because of the Me Too movement and this push for, no harassment at all, zero tolerance policies, that guy could very likely lose his job for nothing but an accusation. And this is something we have to address as a society if we want people to be able to work together again.
Now, working is a normal part of life.
Work, 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 work.
work with. I think most of us are used to it. Sometimes we have a little less fun than usual.
I couldn't think of a more horrible job if I wanted to.
I'm seeing this new trend on social media where girls are fed up with the fact that they have to work. They don't want to be girl bosses anymore. They are asking to rewind the clock and go back to the times that they had to stay in the home and not actually go to work, which is incredibly ironic considering that feminism runs rampant in our world and we're told that all women just want to be girl bosses and that is what is going to make us very, very happy and fulfilled. Newsflash. Maybe it does not. The video that sparked this entire episode and a lot of these conversations online is this TikTok.
Whoever fought for women to get jobs. Why? Why did we do that? I am so tired. I want to just put my feet up. Oh my god.
6 million views, and the comments did not disappoint. Somebody said, for real, why did they do that? I would have been completely chill running a household, cooking, going shopping, cleaning, stress-free, like, ugh, I hate working.
I don't like my job, and I don't think I'm gonna go anymore.
Another person said, should have fought a little less hard. And then there were a lot of people who were saying, like, we wanted the opportunity to do it, but I didn't want to be forced to do it. Now, this even made its way to the men's rights subreddit, which is just always a trip and so interesting. But this person says, imagine having someone voluntarily work 60-hour work weeks for you, providing for your every need and want, while the only expectation is that you cook, clean, and care for the children. And considering that slavery and oppression, even just reading that paragraph is just shocking to me, because how have we been conditioned to believe that being taken care of and tending for your home and playing with adorable, cute little children that you birthed, that you created, is slavery? I wanted to see if I could actually quantify these sentiments that I'm seeing in the comment sections and on TikTok, of not wanting to work. However, I wanted to see what I could find, especially in terms of married women staying home, and I actually found a lot. 48% of women don't want to go back to work in the office full time. And this article says, a new study by PerceptXY, an employee listening and people analytics platform, found that compared to 6 months ago, 48% of women are less likely to want to return to their workplace in a full-time capacity. The report also highlights that over 2 million women have left the workforce entirely since the pandemic began. Quote, while it's shocking that more than 2 million women have left the workforce as a result of the pandemic, it's not that surprising that the majority of women looking for a hybrid work arrangement would prefer to spend fewer days in the office than their male counterparts. Have these journalists ever considered that maybe women find more fulfillment in those tasks, that they want to spend time with their children, that they would like to have a hybrid job so they can go home and take their kids to soccer or spend time with them or cook dinner for them because they love that? Maybe because we're good at that, because that's what we're actually designed to do.
There's just a scandal that came out. This woman falsely accused several young men of doing something to her. These young men tried to delete themselves because it was absolutely a lie. Now, evidence came out recently where she went to the store, bought a hammer, beat herself.
Oh my goodness. Oh my God.
These young men, if it wasn't for other men coming around and supporting these young men, and just because she was a woman, she was believed, and I'm not saying that doesn't happen. I actually come from a family that's happened, but I still know several stories of women who have falsely accused, ruined these young men's lives. And guess what? You know what society says after that? That young woman, this is one woman who was finally held accountable because of her lies and destroying their life. But do you know what happened? Those young men, most of them who have been falsely accused, they lose their scholarship, lose their jobs, they lose everything, and then there's nothing that's said. If it goes away and it wasn't true, you never hear accountability. You never hear any woman go to jail for falsely accusing those men.
There needs to be a law for it.
It looks like the world owes Trevor Bauer a big apology. Trevor was able to finally vindicate himself and prove what he had been saying all along, that he was innocent, and that this woman, his accuser, was nothing more than a liar. And Bauer's evidence was a bombshell.
Next victim, star pitcher for the Dodgers. A text Lindsey Hill sent to a friend before she ever even met me. Then, after the first time we met, net worth is 51 mil. Bitch, you better secure the bag, was the response. But how was she going to do that? Need daddy to choke me out, she said, being an absolute whore to try to get in on his 51 million.
The interesting part, no one for a second questioned her story. I have to ask, what does that say about our society and its attitudes towards men? That they are all deemed to be scumbags if a woman says so? The Me Too movement, which originally gave way to give a voice to actual victims, has now transformed into a manipulative tactic for women to make excuses for their own degenerate and immoral behavior. And the Me Too movement, it's clear it means nothing anymore, except to strip innocent men of their power.
I am so sick of this idea that
we should always accept that in every situation, a woman is a victim. I'm not empowered by that. I don't find that to be empowering, right? The Me Too movement to me disempowered women because it said women never know what they're doing. They just are always little flowers and men take advantage. The truth is that women take advantage too. And the easiest thing for women to sell to get what they want is sex, right? This is what Tag the Sponsor proves. I want to be rich. I want to have money and I don't want to work. So I'm going to sell sex. I have no talent and I want to be an actress. So I'm going to sell sex. Sex is a power that women have. Being beautiful is a power. Being aesthetic, being feminine is a power that women have. And women tend to wield that power heavily throughout society.
Back in the days, you know, most of the time you would wait for someone to make the first move. It might be on the first date, it might be the third date, whatever. It could be the man, it could be the woman. But now all my friends have noticed that the man has stopped making the first move. All my girlfriends are like, they're waiting. It's the third date, fourth date, a week later. He hasn't gone in for the kiss. He doesn't do any touching or anything. And I've asked my dude friends that are single, and they were like, you don't know where a woman's gonna go with that story anymore. I ain't touching nobody. I have heard that. So yeah, I have heard that. There's something going on out there, and it sucks because the Me Too movement is so strong and so powerful for the people that need it, but it shouldn't ruin the maturity that we should have within intimacy and relationships.
Corporate gender diversity initiatives have been increasing, pressuring companies to hire more women in key positions. Gender quotas mandate the appointment of females as board members and department heads, leading to challenges when qualified women are scarce. Companies must hire less experienced candidates, resulting in increased pressure, mistakes, and high salaries. However, hesitation in hiring women is growing due to fear of false accusations of misogyny or harassment. Men are wary of working with women, as a simple complaint could ruin their livelihood and reputation. The Me Too movement has caused men to avoid private interactions with female colleagues, with some expressing discomfort at being alone with a woman in the office. The fear of unjust accusations has resulted in men being reluctant to engage with women in the workplace, impacting their interactions and relationships. Overall, despite the potential for both genders to excel in organizations, the fear of losing jobs due to false accusations has created a culture of hesitancy surrounding hiring and working with women. In the workplace, women have a significant advantage over men when it comes to initiating processes that can lead to a man's dismissal based on accusations of workplace harassment. Men are often presumed guilty until proven innocent by corporate authority, which can be a difficult task in today's environment. This has led to a growing apprehension among men towards women, with a notable percentage expressing reluctance to hire women, especially those considered attractive. Surveys have shown a shift in men's comfort levels with interacting with women in office settings, indicating a preference for collaborating with male colleagues. This trend is not limited to men, as women also exhibit apprehension towards hiring attractive women. The belief that attractive individuals are more credible may be influencing this behavior. Overall, both men and women are navigating a changing landscape in the workplace, shaped by movements like Me Too and societal perceptions of attractiveness. It is important to consider the complexities of gender dynamics and perceptions in the modern workplace before rushing to judgment. In movies, attractive leading characters are portrayed as flawless champions, while antagonists are visually unattractive. This has led to men being cautious about interacting with attractive women in professional settings due to fear of harassment accusations. Men are avoiding being alone with women to avoid risking their careers. However, this has caused women to bear the burden of working late at the office, resulting in men feeling isolated. Men fear unnecessary gossip and exaggerated reactions from women, leading to women being excluded from confidential meetings. The corporate sector is still dealing with the aftermath of the Me Too movement, causing men to avoid professional interactions with women. Companies may even hire fewer women to avoid workplace drama and protect productivity and profits. As a result, it has become unprofitable for companies to take risks by hiring more women, as they cannot stop hiring men just because women are uncomfortable. The perceptions and behaviors surrounding the issue need to change for a more inclusive and productive work environment. And that concludes today's discussion on MGTOW Voice. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay updated on future videos. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next video.